There's always this little bit of discussion that takes place before the jurors come into the room, and today's pre-juror discussion was about a witness, some video evidence, and Travis Payne and Stacy Walker's availability. After lunch, set dates for Stacy Walker on Monday and Travis Payne on Tuesday, because supposedly they are both rehearsing something in Los Angeles right now, and they both can't take off the same day, but then they're leaving on the 15th to go to Japan. The two attorneys today, I couldn't find their names, like Katherine Jackson's attorney that examined the witness. I think I heard his name was Courthouse, but I looked him up on Brian Panish's firm's website and couldn't find it. And then I thought the AEG attorney's name was Cayman, but I couldn't find her either. So I'm just going to kind of briefly summarize rather than give you it chronologically. The two witnesses today were Dan Anderson and Christopher Rogers, both of them from the LA coroner's office. Dan Anderson is a criminalist, a forensic scientist. A lot of time was spent on both witnesses establishing their credentials. Dan Anderson, he said he heard that Michael Jackson died. He was home. His son came in and said Michael Jackson died, and he remembers that it was a Thursday because Thursday's his day off. When Cayman asked him if his staff worked on the weekends, he said no. So he has off on Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. He also said that there are 8,000 autopsies done a year, 5,000 of them requiring tox reports. He went in on June 26th because he was getting ready for the event. He didn't say because I had to get ready for all the work ahead of me or I had to get ready for the situation. He actually said I was getting ready for the event. He was asked by Courthouse about the amount of propofol in the system and said that it was consistent with the amount given in a major surgery. But at another point he said the amount in his system was fatal. And that was after he said that when we're talking propofol, there really are no levels like toxic level and fatal level. There was a chart, it's like this running log that Dan Anderson has kept since 1999 to present, showing any deaths that propofol showed up in the tox report. So in that 14-year range, there have been 31 cases. 24 of the 31 cases occurred in the hospital. 6 were listed as suicides, and these were all medical professionals who had access to propofol. 3 were listed as homicides. I was really trying to find the correct spelling of today's attorneys, and so I was looking through some online news, and headlines that I saw referring to this trial would lead you to believe that Michael Jackson was filled with drugs at the time of his death. But the one thing I can tell you that was pretty apparent was that the amount of benzodiazepines in his system was minute. That in itself wouldn't have killed him. And the red flag was that there was propofol in his system administered in a house setting, and in the evidence was liquid lorazepam, which also should only be administered in a hospital setting. Heyman made a point that Murray prescribed temazepam in December of '08, and that it was filled at a CVS in Los Angeles. My thought is that maybe she's trying to point out that Murray was prescribing drugs for Michael Jackson before AEG even offered a contract to him. But the pills in evidence were prescribed by Murray, Metzger, Klein. Date prescribed was December of '08, I believe, to April of '09. And it didn't seem there was an abuse of these drugs, because if they had been taken the way they were prescribed. Some of these bottles should have been emptied, and some of these bottles shouldn't have had as many as they did. They talked about the other drugs discovered in what Dan Anderson referred to as biological materials. This was the heart blood, the femoral blood, the liver, the urine, the stomach, the vitreous, but no mention of brain. And it was referred by both attorneys. In fact, Kamen said, anything else? He said no. It was the sum total of the biological samples. Christopher Rogers in the afternoon, a deputy medical examiner, was at a conference on June 25th, and how he found out about Michael Jackson was that someone passed him a note saying that Michael Jackson had died. He explained that Michael Jackson was transported from UCLA to the coroner's office by helicopter because they had already decided that special security measures needed to be put in place. We saw briefly the infamous autopsy photo and the diagrams of the scars, tattoos, and contusions and punctures on his body. The punctures were explained away as resuscitation attempts. Christopher Rogers said that Michael Jackson was ID'd by toe tags, and his weight was 136, his height was 69 inches. 69 inches is 5'7". I've read many places that MJ was 5'9", and I had to leave early one more time because I do have obligations that I needed to attend to. So that's what happened when I was there.